Well, mates, welcome to the Whisky Bothy. I'm Ralphie, and I review whisky just like this. And this is an extras, a Whisky Bothy extras number 1111. And the subject of this particular video is 2026 is going to be wild. It's going to be a wild year. 2025 was only the overture. For all of us who are whisky enthusiasts around the world, we're busy looking ahead and anticipating primarily what will be the best whiskies, where will I find them at the most reasonable price, and who out there is going to try and sell me something which is underperforming and overpriced, so I can avoid them. These are the fundamental practicalities of being a malt mate, a whisky enthusiast, and basically getting the most out of the experience so we don't get so sickened that we decide that we're not going to drink alcohol at all. Don't forget now, despite the propaganda that surrounds us, that there's many elderly folk that attribute their longevity to a small amount of whisky at night before they go to bed. And this is a bit of a distraction here, but I wing these things, I just go with it. So I'm going to explain why. You might not be aware that elderly people tend to have tumbles and falls during the night when they're making their way to the bathroom because their sleep has been disturbed. It happens all over the world. And they're not fully awake, they don't want to put the lights on, and they are kind of feeling their way, and then they lose the balance and they tumble and they bruise themselves or break an arm, break a wrist, break a leg, which means they're hospitalised. And whereas someone in their 60s can cope with that, someone in their 80s, it's a lot more dangerous. Particularly the risk of infections being picked up in modern hospitals, because modern hospitals rely on recycled air through air conditioning, which is not properly maintained. So you have the recirculation of germs in modern industrial hospitals that never used to happen in old hospitals. And I can talk constructive. I have worked in hospitals in the past in the domestic services department. I did it as a student job. It was a really good job. I enjoyed it. I really just liked cleaning. And there were people brought in that had a tumble, and what made things a lot worse was not the fact that they didn't heal up and go home, or the fact that they weren't properly cared for in the hospital. That was fine. But it's the infections they took back home from the hospital with them, which they then prescribed medication, doctor prescribed medication over the top of it. And when you think about it, another thing about alcohol is it's dehydrating. Eh? You've heard of the word drouth. It's a Scottish word. And it means you need a drink of water. You need to rehydrate. You see, when someone has a glass of whiskey, it dehydrates them slightly due to the solvency of the alcohol. And the result is that people's sleep, older folk at night, the sleep is less disturbed because they don't need to wake up to go to the toilet because they've had a couple of wee goldies. Not only that, but alcohol kills bacteria. So if you've got any parasites in your tummy or into the blood supply, the alcohol, which is absorbed straight into the blood supply, will start to tackle any of these bacterial infections. It's also been known to be very effective against viruses, and you don't hear so much about that. Alcohol is a preservative. Alcohol is ethanol, drinking alcohol. It kills bacteria, it kills germs, it subdues viruses. And so the old wives' tale that you hear about a wee dram before you go to bed, there genuinely is something in it, but that narrative is not fashionable at the moment because there is now a large industry, the drugs industry, that are trying to encourage people to replace alcohol with other drugs and drug consumption. We are invested. We're invested in looking after our health, so we're not going to be drinking excessively, but we're also invested in making sure the quality of what we consume from the bottle that goes past our lips is as best quality as can be. Scotch whisky is a good place to start, whether it be single malt or blended. The alcohol is not about quantity, it's about flavour, which is why we drink it neat. It's far easier to control your consumption of alcohol when you're sipping it neat because you see exactly what you're drinking, whereas with tall drinks, mixed drinks, cocktails and the rest, you lose track of the alcohol in it. And you also have a situation that people, particularly with a little bit of maturity to them, who should know better but don't know better, are out driving vehicles when they shouldn't. So it's highly recommended that you can keep consumption to your safe place, which means when you're staying with friends and you're staying overnight, or you're at home, or you've got your own whiskey bothy, as I do. Brand new layout this year, by the way. I hope you like it. Some things haven't changed and some things have. One of our primary missions is the quality of what we buy at an affordable price. That is our primary mission, our solitary goal. If one thing stands out, it's not so much how much we drink, it's the quality of what we drink. We're all on a budget. We, like many other people, are now post 2020 global pandemic. Yeah, you remember that. You were there. We're busy recalibrating. The whiskey industry's having to recalibrate. We're not buying so much. We're not so easy in letting go our cash. They saw that in 2025. They're going to see a lot more of that in 2026. Let me explain. The whiskey industry is cyclical. It has its booms and its busts. But whereas every boom will go to a bust, every bust will go to a boom. And that has sustained distilleries, many distilleries, over the decades, over a long, long time. And so long as they had not just the quality, but the identity and signature of identity that people could relate to and enjoyed. And Laphroaig's a good example. Highland Park was a good example. Highland Park, you really need this independent bottlings now, not official bottlings. We see the way big companies, particularly stock market companies, listed companies, they're forced, it's in their nature, they can't help it. They've got to sanitise and engineer down their product to appeal to more and more people whilst delivering less and less, simply because people are put off by flavour. It's a challenge. And big companies, the serious large producers, they cannot just cater single cask by single cask integrity delivered to the genuine enthusiasts who would be happy to pay if the price was right, because they're too big to bother about this, which leaves the door open, of course, to the smaller distilleries who are more than happy to cater. You'll see them at whisky festivals. Let me give you some advice. See if you haven't been to a whisky festival. Look around where you are and see if there's one on the go. Check for ratings. Speak to people who have been to previous whisky festivals, and get yourself along there. Even if it means travelling and having an overnight stay at a local hotel, it's well worth the experience. Make it your mission for 2026. It will help you narrow down and focus further on what you're going to buy. Buy carefully. Do not rush in. Do not follow trends. Do not follow fashion. See what's in your shops, what's in the shelves. Ask yourself, double check, is this retailer that's trying to sell me whiskey, are they of good moral conduct and good standing? Or are they waiting till a whiskey becomes fashionable or popular or people are talking about it, and are they hiking up the price? If they are, boycott them. Let them know, then boycott them. Temporary boycott. Go back again after 6 months. Hello, it's been ages. Oh, where have you been? I wasn't buying so much whiskey these days. Oh, I've been buying a wee bit more in line. Prices are important to me. I know we're paying a wee bit more in your shop, but I don't expect to be paying too much of a premium. This is the way it goes. If you have access to whisky auctions, particularly the online whisky auctions, forget the big traditional auction houses like Christie's and Bonhams and all the rest of it. Don't waste your time. Any auction houses which tend to attract the big money tend to attract the big scammers, the big fakers. I'm not saying it's definitely happening. I'm saying the risk is most definitely there. What more advice can I give you? Be selective and confident about what you buy. Buy for yourself. Don't buy what others are necessarily drinking. Know your own palate. You've probably had at least 2 or 3 years, probably more, drinking whiskey. And that's good, because you can't beat experience, personal experience. We all have slightly different palates, different flavour preferences. My advice to you is be confident in that. If you do not like peated whiskies, don't buy them. If you just don't like anything but peated whiskies, then you're spoiled for choice. It's no longer about Lagavulin. Lagavulins are chill filtered. They're denatured. They're sanitised. Because that's what chill filtration does. We all know that. We know for a fact, because we get the feedback from people that have retired from the bottling plants, that when chill filtering takes place, it removes flavour, it removes natural colour, it removes mouthfeel, it removes texture, it removes everything we're looking for in a whiskey when we actually slow things down to smell and taste the experience. There's people in the whiskey industry who don't like that. They wish we'd just shut up, keep dumb, and keep consuming. Because they had a good run in 2020 when people were stuck at home and people were going online and getting deliveries of lots of these lovely whiskies, and Macallan was doing just fine. They're not doing fine so much now. You won't see me reviewing any Macallan in this channel over 2026. I won't be reviewing any. Not even in the independent bottlings. For me, Macallan's in the naughty step. They overpriced and underdelivered for far too long. I am not buying what they sell. I'm looking for the small distilleries. That's where the excitement is. And the independent bottlers. I've got a series coming up after my online Scotch Whisky Awards series, which is about three whiskies long, including this. I'll be moving on to some of the new Scotch whisky distilleries, which are now beginning to come of age. And they're catering for us. Not just in the calibre of what they deliver and the fact that they don't chill filter. They understand how much we despise that corruption of the whisky, which is what it is. It's a corruption of single malt whisky. It's a disgusting habit, only there to keep consumers consuming. We're customers. We're customers who are customering. That's different. Very different. We're being fussy, selective and maintaining control. We're looking at auctions. We're going to see some bargains there, malt mates. Oh my goodness, keep your eye on the auctions. But also keep your eyes on what's coming out in the shelves of your small, independent, high street retailers, because these are the companies who actually stock the exciting stuff. Forget travel retail. Don't buy anything in travel retail. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. Sure, it looks like a special offer because it happens to be in a litre bottle. But you've put a mobile device on you. Start to calculate the real cost. Nothing is cheap in an airport. Airports subsidise the cost of flights with all the in-airport prisoner customising of food, bottles of water, snacks, books, the whole lot. They really pump up their prices. Although I suspect there'll be fewer people travelling this year, particularly to the Caribbean for some reason. What can we expect in 2026? We can expect us all to be consuming a bit less, consuming more carefully, spending wisely, and if you've got debt, really dial in that debt. Remove your debt completely. Try and get yourself debt free as much as you can, because we're now heading towards the age of central bank digital currency where you don't get a mortgage for your house, you don't get a loan for your car, you don't get a mortgage holiday so as you can go holiday payment, so you can go on holiday. Debts are going to be around the individual and their identity card. It won't be debt for this, debt for that. It's the individual. It's just the walking debt bank who'll be invited to participate in this and buy that and pay later. Meanwhile, the personal debt clocks up, and even as it does, the financial institutions gain more and more direct and personal leverage on our lives. I've been discussing things in pubs with some very well-informed people from the finance industry. Take what I'm saying seriously. Reduce your debt as much as possible. Consume less, consume more carefully, consume more cautiously, consume more sensibly, and buy what you consume more thoughtfully. That is my advice. Have a good 2026. It's going to be a wild, wild year. Not just for whiskey, but for everything. It's just going to be that kind of year.